Hi everyone, welcome to 7/10 Minutes with ARKHILITE C. And today we have in the house Jason Lee from Six. Jason, can you make an introduction, a brief one of yourself, because there's so much that I want to, share and in a way to introduce you as well.
Sure.
Thank you for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me today.
Definitely.
So anyway, I'll just do a quick introduction about myself. I'm Jason, the founder of Sand by Six. And when you look at the brand Six, S-I-X, I'm not sure if you can see, there's a logo behind me. Yeah. Why Six? Because when we smell fragrances, there's a strong connection to your emotions and memories, sixth sense. And it's also in my initial plan to come up with 6 scents to complete one collection. So it's a play between the two words, sense and sense. So 6. Okay. So I started the company in 2014. And prior to that, I used to work in a Swiss fragrance house called Givaudan. That's where we make fragrances for brands like Tom Ford, Diptyque, Jo Malone, etc. That's where I learned my craft. So we also craft fragrances to supply to people like Unilever, P&G, and we make them into FMCG products like your shampoo, your detergent, and fabric conditioner, and so on and so forth. Okay,
Jason, I'm going to interrupt you here.
Yes,
sure.
sure.
I just want to share on how I chanced upon you and your products. I mean, your products spoke really directly to me.
Thank you.
And one of the other than the vibes and therefore from the vibes visually, managed to really go just to dig out a little bit on the things that you do. And one of the quotes that you were flashing in some of your products or in your promotional materials is very much on enhancing a space. And in my work, at ARKHILITE, we're very much about crafting slow spaces and all that. So when I saw this happening, of course, the idea of scents playing a very important role. You were talking about 6, and therefore I thought that was a brilliant. So brilliant in such a way that you were thinking, that should be the name of what your fragrance or scent company can be. Yeah. So with that, the ability of a scent to permeate in a space, and therefore to give a certain character, because you were talking about, and this is where we are coming to be able to give a character to a space using scent. And you were working with with Six, and as well in your previous working environment, a previous company. What's the process like? Can you just give us a short introductory explanation, because I'm really curious about.
Sure. Okay, so just to start off, I would say when we craft a scent to really encompass a space, etc., I think we all want to tell a compelling story to our stakeholders. We want to tell a compelling story to people who are there at the space, etc. So first of all, I would really need to understand your brand story, your brand ethos, and if you have a brand deck, send it to me so I can take a look at your brand colors, etc. I will ask deep questions about your brand, and with all these information, I will take about a week or 2 to come up with a few candidates, which we can actually evaluate together, and to let you understand why I use certain ingredients in such a way to allow you to have to evoke certain emotions and memories, and that must actually resonate with your brand story. So ultimately, when we run the scents through the space, we want people to identify this scent, to be immersed in this whole experience, and to have a very lasting and impactful memory and impression.
This is so powerful. I'm trying to imagine that already. The fact is that most brands, or most good brands, or most powerful brands, or influential brands, and as a designer, the ability to differentiate not just ourselves, but this is something that about our design, per se. I think concepts are important, and when we brought you in, like today, we're talking about your for 6, there's such a strong concept in and out, and that really permeates through the entire line of products from really the macro thoughts. So when you're talking about having to strike a certain memory that the people who comes into a particular space that belongs to a brand, of course, that they're able to discern something. This is so powerful and yet really difficult, because when even when we talk about, say, when we want to craft a space for a brand, after understanding some of the ethos you were saying, but most of these missions and ethos are somewhat, or could be some, it really depends, but some are more difficult than others so that we can really make use of. Like, for example, if a brand is it talks about a certain flower, then that is really like to the both of us something that there are lots of leeway and imagery that we can strike out. But when it's something like say if a brand is about some social statement, or a brand is about being stable, or a brand is about giving value, so and so forth, then you have to see how, in terms of sense, what are the characters and of a certain maybe you I don't know beyond that to be to be of much of a value here, but there's something which you can fill me in. What are some of the how many scents are there? Maybe something which is as basic as that. We can start from there. And then how do you mix them up together? I don't know. Is that how you would?
Okay. So the whole process of scent making is actually quite complex. So maybe just let me give you a bit of idea. If you step into a departmental store like Tangs or Takashimaya and you pick up a Ralph Lauren Polo perfume, for example, or CK, all these perfumes, including our perfumes, you have about 300 to 400 unique ingredients in each perfume itself.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so the level of permutations and combinations is actually unlimited, I would say. Yeah, so I think nowadays, of course, the perfumers, they do not use pen and paper to actually do their work. There's complex SAP systems and all that to assist the perfumers in the whole journey of crafting the scent. Yeah, so well, when we actually make a scent out of a brand story, I think the more important things to note will be the end. At the end, the perceivable notes that people can actually pick up. Mm-hmm. So these are actually more important. Mm-hmm. So, for example, when you last year we did a scent for Yuan Sang 140th anniversary. Is the world's number one, the first TCM inspired scent. Mm-hmm. So we actually incorporated key traditional Chinese medicine ingredients inside, like your ginseng, your tang gui, and a little bit of this honeysuckle, in there. So we try to actually marry these ingredients that's perceivable to the brand ethos, to the whole idea of TCM, and we did not actually make a scent that is bad smelling, to be honest. It smells really good, and the whole idea was actually to really elevate the whole brand image of Yuan Sang, and to also communicate to people that TCM does not necessarily have to smell like before, so traditionally, strong and all. It can be nice smelling, so that this whole brand image can be sustainable for generations to come. Things like that. Yeah.
Interesting. So that really answers my question. To be able to find something that strikes a chord with the brand as well as what the brand wants people, the public to be able to associate with, and these particular object or these particular notes or memories would be somewhat directly related to the brand story. But there's this middle ground almost, that between you and of course you know better, because like what you said, there's between 300 to 400, and then there's like different weightage of each of these, and then to be able to give something that is more discernible to people.
Correct. So it's the same as when you step into malls, like for example, when we craft the stand for Fullerton Hotel, for example, also for Funan, etc. We want people to actually be like, oh yeah, I've smelled this before, I know where is it. It's at Funan, for example. Yeah. So the next level after that will be something that we call a call to action in the scent. Yeah, so when people smell that, they are inclined to actually, be more, for example, be more adventurous, etc. So it's something that alters your mood and your, propensity to actually, do certain things.
That's interesting. So other than fulfilling the first part, which we're talking about the making as in connecting with any particular brands and all companies, then the next step is actually to help to inculcate a certain what you the manner which you put it to have a core of
So of course, this is actually what a lot of our retailers are actually looking out for. People in the entertainment industry
absolutely
are also calling us, to actually come, Jason, check if you can actually come up with something that actually will inspire people to be, to have this kind of mood, when they step into our space, etc.
That's great, because towards the end of the chat, and we aren't going to, we're not coming to a close yet, but at the end of the chat, we're talking about it. If I forgot, please remind me. But we are going to talk about how the next evolution of the products that you for 6 that you're going to have, But I think before that, I would like very much for you to share a little chat with us in the somewhat earlier, but it started with in a company which is huge in providing solutions as far as scents are concerned. What makes you do the jump? Because you were sharing also yesterday, and if I may share, that yesterday you were presenting at MGS, Methodist Girls School, about entrepreneurship. So what makes you take the leap?
Okay, so back then in end of 2013, I was actually
only if you are comfortable to share,
of course. Okay, I'm more than happy to share. It wasn't an easy decision, because back then when I was in Givaudan, I had a very clear and smooth career path paved out for me. I was hired as a management associate. The company was very kind to also give me a lot of opportunities to send me overseas to handle key accounts in fine fragrance and in consumer products, etc. So to leave the company that's really amazing, I must say, this is the world's #1 fragrance house by size and by capacity as well. So it's not easy. Up to today, we still work very closely together in our creative works. But why take the leap of faith? So back then, I had like I don't know if you call it a midlife crisis. I was only 30 years old, right? But you felt a bit lost.
Nowadays, we tend to age like earlier,
Yeah.
I'll share with you that like halfway through, like just a few years back, I'm older than you, but a few years back, I was like thinking that okay, maybe I should do more sharing. That's why I went to teach and so on and so forth, But whatever that we call it, but yeah, please, sorry to interrupt.
Right. No worries. So having worked for a few years, and then you start to imagine, when you're at the age of 50 years old, are you gonna regret? So I was lost. I asked myself, do I really know my passion? I couldn't answer that question, and I felt very. It's truly sad if you do not know what your passion truly lies.
But your passion, but you're having fun. You said the company is great, and you like the scope and the things which you were doing back then. Okay, but so then when you refer to, say, at age 50, is whether you're content, right? Whether you're content.
Yeah. So are you happy? Because at the end of the day, when you're at the age of 50, for example, or maybe 60, when you're about to retire, leave your job.
Retire.
If you're unfortunate, maybe at the age of around 50, you get retrenched or whatever, right? People only remember your successor. You can do brilliant results for the company. You can do year-on-year positive sales for the company. You know, nothing is going to matter because everyone's just going to focus on the next person who is in power.
That's
so
Hall of Famer.
Yeah, so
fan of MBA, so you know they'll put up like once in a while.
But I have to qualify this. So I spoke to the teachers and I said, you know, except for the teaching profession, except for professions like maybe doctors, healthcare professionals, you're really making a difference to people and their lives. I think the rest of us, if you know, for me at least, if I were to still work in a company, then you know, if I retire, I think I'll just take home with a bag of cash, and that's it. You know, nothing more, right? There's nothing wrong with that, to be honest with you. I think, you know, to each his own. I think, yeah. So I do not challenge other people having that contentment that I'm just happy with money or that. I don't really care about what people really think about me when I retire. That's fine. But for me, I think I'll really regret. So then it comes to the notion of time versus money.
Not making and
time versus money.
Done something that okay.
Yeah, because
are you talking about the regret of not having an impact or more sustainable impact, right?
You see, like for now, if I were to drop dead tomorrow, for example, my children, I think they will still be happy and they'll be proud that you know, their father has actually started a brand, 7x6, and I think, you know, he has also managed to also make some people happy with the sense and all that. Yeah, so this is something that's intangible and nobody can ever, you know, take it away from you.
That's true.
Yeah, so it's a lot of emotional thing that's going on when you build a brand sincerely and you really push it out, compared to, you know, working from
scratch.
Correct. So it's also about, I want to touch on the notion of time versus money, because to me, I think money, it can be earned in other ways, you know, later part in your life or whatnot. You know, you lose some money now, you know, you can gain it back later. But every second of time that is passed, you know, you can't get it back. That's it. It's gone, right? So I value time more than money. So are you spending time wisely to do something that is meaningful to your life? Are you really working towards something that you will definitely not regret when you are, you know, retiring?
Okay, so is this part of the slide that you have put up for MGS like yesterday?
No. I just talk off the slides here.
So even in your this is very long. I share many thoughts that you have. So even in your 1 hour presentation yesterday, this is not part of it, you know. There's like, there could be a part 2, part 3. They'll get you in like next year or something like that. Absolutely. And with every year that we go through, there are more experiences that we can probably share, you know, so that other people can understand, and they can make use of them if it works, or to avoid if it doesn't. So thanks again really for sharing that. I think this is really interesting about making a certain decision, because you can make it now, you can make it later, but if you don't make it later, if you don't make it now, it's unlikely that you'll make it later, and the more that you drag, the more unlikely that you will step up.
You're not going to turn back time, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Then
and you have more to lose when you're at a later stage of life.
Absolutely. But our conversation, so if you're 50, if you're 60 and you're hearing us today, you're going to live till 90, 100, you know, so there's still like 30 years. So whatever it's about, if you have this idea that your somehow your existence, I think we're getting a bit out of
too deep,
too deep into something else. But I think maybe some of our friends and public in general find this interesting. So, but if you are also thinking about something that you want to do right now in this life, and so whatever age that you are, accomplish something, not accomplish it yet, then please just move on with it. I'm sure there's a huge supportive community at every age group and at different communities as well.
Yeah, and I think it's important to also find like-minded individuals and mentors along the way, because this whole journey is really very lonely from the start, whether or not you have partners.
Do you have a mentor?
Thankfully, I do, yes.
From your
company? From my ex-company and from my personal group of friends, they are actually quite senior in age and in experience.
I see.
So you can't say that this person is old, and I don't think he's relevant in today's context.
Definitely.
No, I think at the end of the day, market will change, trends will change, the way we communicate will change. But I think to a certain extent, a huge extent, in fact, the way we handle problems, how we tackle problems, especially human resource problems, human management, right? HR management, for example. This is something that I think it comes with experience. And I can tell you honestly, out of all the problems I'm solving every single day, HR is something that is really a deep topic that I until now I'm still, I find myself so immature, and I'm still learning almost on a daily basis. Yeah, and it's so important because you as a founder, I think it's important that you are able to be in a position to motivate, to encourage your men, and especially in times like this, even though you may be faced with a lot of uncertainties and pressure, but you still have to put up a smile.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah.
Jason, you're talking about history. You're almost alluding about, although you did not say it directly, but you're almost alluding to that history will repeat itself. The fact that people has gone through, and therefore your mentors have gone through certain things, and things will just repeat, just in different forms, of course, but
different contexts.
Different contexts, different scenarios and situations and so on. But things always like for example, the pandemic that we have now, it has happened before, right?
Yes.
So I was just reading up on Ray Dalio, hedge fund. Is a brilliant CEO of a hedge fund manager, talking about this. And what might follow would be something similar to the most recent one, which is in 1920s, 1930s, and it has happened even before that, But there's always even huge things that you don't see it happening, happened before. We've been around for a long time. Jason, the slides, whether some of the things that instead there, some gems that I want you to share with us.
Okay, maybe I'll just pick up a few slides to just share. Yeah. Okay, so this is basically just talking about what I've shared about Givaudan and how we actually source about the ingredients and all. And then we moved on to scent marketing.
This is so powerful.
Yeah, harnessing the power of a scent to tell our brand stories, etc. Not going to drag on. I'm just gonna. Sorry, it's a bit hanged. Let me.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Right. So there you go. I think it's important for the brand to tell a story, but yet if you are good in crafting the scent, it actually can inspire a call to action. Yeah. So I was just sharing with you I'm a scent architect.
Because we do visible facade but okay. Let me. Thanks for opening this up. So just give me 30 seconds because this is really I felt so much about this facade word that you put up. I'll give you back the time later on to do this. But the facade the things that we do built environment. In design, the facade is something that is tangible. The facade is something that's very visible, and then a lot of people want it to be, because that's the face, and then therefore whether as a person or as a building or as a facade, we want it to be noticeable. But then of course at the same time there are certain areas or situations whereby we're able to. Not that every time when you are you need to be a landmark, sometimes when you're able to be invisible, or you're able to like blend in with the rest, I think that's an interesting notion and interesting thesis as well. But obviously, for your case, we're talking about the facade as in something that that is really not cannot be seen at all. But then we know that it's there because we're able to smell it.
Yes. And this is something when I talk to our customers, for example, in Fullerton Hotel, Singapore Airlines, etc. I think when we are there to really craft a scent, a signature, iconic scent that encompasses the whole entire brand altogether, this is something that I think, you know, it really triggers the attention of the highest management. In fact, you know, almost all the time, you know, before the final approval, the GM or the CEO will be there to say, yes, this is what I want for the facade of this whole space. This is how important a scent is, I think. Yeah, for people who really do appreciate scent marketing, I think, yes, this is something that is so important, so invisible. Well, I just want to take a bit of time to share about this. Your sense of smell is actually your strongest sensory organ. If you can actually imagine, maybe you imagine seeing that a person 10 years ago, and now this person walks by and gets past you, and you probably will not be able to recognize this person. However, you know, a scent that's so iconic, for example, the scent of your first love, or the scent of your first car, or your grandmother's scent, this is something that is gonna be impactful and will really trigger an immediate reaction. All right, yeah. So this is how is the this is to really describe how is the difference between your sense of smell versus your other sensory organs.
Talking about how powerful invisible things are sometimes.
Correct. So you're right. And before I left Givaudan, in fact, Givaudan had actually came up with CSR, and this is essentially to help people with dementia actually. So they've selected a group of patients, and we interviewed them. We understood about their backgrounds, their heritage. We talked to the neighbors to understand what they like to drink, where they like to hang out, this and that. So the perfumers, we crafted a collection of fragrances or palette that relates to this particular person. And then we bring this whole palette and to let this person evaluate and smell. And the results were amazing actually. You can actually take a look at this YouTube and search for "Smell a Memory" by Givaudan, Givaudan. So people with dementia, with Alzheimer's disease, it's so hard for even the closest family members to trigger a slight emotion or reaction from them. But it's so funny when they smell something that is so familiar to them, it really triggers something that is so emotional. You can see tears coming down from their eyes, and suddenly they can they begin to mutter the names of the loved ones, etc. Yeah. So I'll not go on further. I think I've spoken too much about this, but it's really interesting.
Yeah, awesome. This reminds me of a project by there's a Pritzker Prize architect from China. Wang Shou is the first. He's the first and only Pritzker Prize. It is something that an architect can. It's almost like equivalent to a Nobel Prize, you know, but it's reserved for architects. So there is this architect from China, Wang Shou, who I was just mentioning it. He took some of the buildings that were being demolished in a very old town of China, and then he just took up the, you know, like all the broken clay tiles or the broken bricks and so on, and then he reconstituted them in a random manner, but I mean aesthetically beautiful, of course, but to reconstitute them in a seemingly random manner to become a part of the Ningpo Museum. That's where the city is, part of the Ningpo Museum. So later on, when they when the folks around the community, when they went, a disclaimer, he did not like break down the as in destroy the villages and all that to get these. But what happens, like during for like even Singapore, like a long time ago, when we are doing our rejuvenation of the city, we start to take away, demolish all the older homes to make spaces for the high-rise buildings and all that.
Yeah.
So those things are happening all across like China now, as we're talking. So what he mainly did is to like collect some of these things that are going to be like thrown away anyway. So he used them as building materials. But going back to your point, I think it's very similar. And thanks for bringing that out. That when these like folks go to these, they are able to see like, hey, this is something that was part of us. And yes, we were in a like new environment now, but it has always been part of the collection. And then similar things like tears like roll down their cheeks and all that. So
priceless.
Thanks again, for illustrating this. That sense is definitely able to help us relieve some of these thoughts and memories and all the good times all together in the past, and of course going into the future as well.
Yep, that's right.
Awesome. So
this is just a snapshot on the collaboration. I think if you do have some time, maybe you can play a short video by Yuan Sang.
Sure. How long is that?
It's about a minute, but let me see. I think I can. No worries. I think it's a bit hang. I think you should move on.
Don't worry about it. Another time.
Yeah. So this one was actually for Piaget, and we actually customized a scent for their new rose collection last year during Mother's Day. So we did some collaboration with Singapore Airlines, with Chris Shop, and these are the new hotels by Far East in Sentosa. You have a Village Hotel, Barracks, and Outpost. So each hotel has their own unique brand story, and we craft a signature scent for each hotel to encompass this story. Then an interesting one was actually last year, I had the chance to also craft a scent for Catholic High, where PMD and I were from. So he was very, very kind when he visited Funan last year. He paid us a visit, and he was also very kind to also mention us on his social media as well. Yeah.
Awesome.
So that's in a nutshell about 7x6.
Great, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Jason. We were I cannot let you go without going into the future. We're talking about remembering the past and not just that, but to be able to make use of something that's invisible, to be able to evoke pleasure or pleasurable memories and so on. But how about, because you shared with me very kindly about moving forward, that there's certain technology, do you call that technology, that you're able to harness? Yeah.
So as I mentioned before, we work very closely with Givaudan, and Givaudan has recently developed a patented technology. And basically, we have a palette of fragrance ingredients, and they are scientifically proven to be functional. So when we actually make use of these ingredients, we blend it into our perfumes, you can have something that is olfactively beautiful, perfumistic, yet there's a proven function to it. For example, to make you sleep better, focus better, relax better, etc. So now you're not limited to just a pure essential oil. For example, lavender to allow you to sleep better, etc. You can have something that is signature, that smells really good and complex, and yet you know that this is working to make you sleep better.
Awesome.
Yeah, so it's tested in like sleep institutes around the world. So there's solid data.
Wow. So maybe just spend a minute or so on that. You mentioned that some essential oils, by the nature and the characteristic of them, that they're able to help. Of course, this is through research and development, and maybe like humans, like we chance upon it, and then it does help, and therefore it can help like certain people to be able to do it. But the technology now that you were saying is, are you able to? Is it something that is crafted or something that could be fine-tuned for different groups of people or something like that?
Yeah, I think it can be done actually. Yeah, so you can have
like for different age groups, for different like males or females or.
Yes, we are planning to actually embark on that. So that's why I want to come on this whole topic, because it's so interesting how you actually combine and customize functions in something that is so intangible. And it's not limited to perfumes. We are planning to launch our hand creams, for example, also our sanitizers with all these perfumistic notes.
Such a game changer.
So you do not have to use a sanitizer that smells like one. I promise you that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be coming along. Thanks for coming.
Honestly, it's gonna be the culture moving forward. I think for people to be more mindful about hygiene. So we need to also be accommodating to what the market needs.
There's always this talk about a scent being able to, because you like it, it smells of lemon, it smells of this, it smells of that, whether is it on a palm or being applied to the hands or in liquid form or in gaseous form in general, but it helps you to feel good. I think that's one of the things, and of course being able to, just when you were mentioning call to action, when you spray on something or when you apply something, the smell, it gives you confidence.
That's right.
I think these are some of the things that were existing, but then to be able to bring this to another level, that you're able to somehow to quantify that, because there are certain metrics they're able to gauge how relaxed people they are, that after they smell it, that they are, and how that can actually gear them towards you were mentioning a better sleep also, ultimately, But I was also thinking, other than being able to apply in such a way that we feel relaxed and so on, to gear us towards almost like some sort of a Popeye's potion that after you drink it, but in this case you feel like differently for the day. Like for example, if I feel a bit more depressed and I spray something onto it and I feel better, and vice versa, or today I feel a bit like slow, like not so energetic, lethargic, and then if I do it and then I felt more like energized. That's the way. These are the things in line moving forward.
Yeah, of course. People are just more discerning about what they buy, and what's next for fragrances. We always have to look forward and to come up with legitimate products. Yeah. So we're not going to con you and tell you that this is definitely going to improve your sleep. No, but hey, this is data. Yeah. It's been tested, and this is really good for your sleep. So I think there's a high chance that when you smell this, you probably be able to get a restful night.
Jason, when is this going to be launched?
In Q3 this year.
Already in the plans, in the pipeline.
Yes, correct.
We're looking forward to it. Folks,
yes, you'll be first try.
Folks, we thank you so much. We are waiting. Folks, so sorry to have to call it a day. It's a lovely evening because we are all looking forward to tomorrow.
Yes.
Lovely things to come, I'm sure. Right, but at this moment, where is it that we can find you, like Jason and Scent?
Okay, you can follow us on Instagram, Scent by 6, SCENT_BY_SIX, and we have our retail outlet at Bugis Junction at 01-15, just right next to Daniel Wellington.
That's awesome. Thanks again. Thanks, Jason, for sharing so much.
Thank you so much.
Not just insights, but I think the knowledge, the background, the knowledge, and all the different dots that we have, and you have helped me beautifully string up together. Thank you so much.
You too. Thank you so much.